I want to get to some Kirby Smart sound here, Stugotz, because I do think it's uproariously funny that these bowl games were, more than ever, when they're trying to transition into made-for-television dollars, the professional minor league of this college football stupidity, Stugotz, has never been more wonderfully absurd than during the bowl games where Tyler Van Dyke is in a Wisconsin uniform.
So strange.
And the portal is so absurd and ridiculous that it's walk-ons out there, and whatever your team was at Ohio State, it's not the one playing Missouri, even though Missouri is very good. It is basically maximum mercenary nonsense, and the teams don't look anything like they look during the season. You're crazy to bet on those games, but they exist only for you to bet on them. And you don't know what North Carolina is without Drake May and without everyone else who's not playing. Or, hey, look at that. USC can still score with all of their walk-ons and other guys who didn't go into the portal or transfer or decide that they weren't going to play for USC anymore.
I was watching a bowl game. I can't remember which one, but the announcers were saying, yeah, this quarterback who's starting today, he's in the portal. It's like a tryout for other universities.
Yep. It's ridiculous. And watching these games, it's clear that this has been diluted, but they're never going to fix it if they keep getting the kind of numbers that they do, because that's just their business. They're going to bank on the average Joe that's tuning into that game, not really knowing nor caring if it's the fourth-string quarterback starting for a team.
I really am fascinated by the business of this, Stugotz, because all of the gambling money is coming now in full force because there are only going to be a couple of gambling winners in this giant money space where Barstool can buy a bowl game, and all of it is obviously made for television programming that once you dispense with the amateurism and turn it all into business, sure, it'll be a Mayo commercial, it'll be a Pop-Tart commercial, and we're going to make this as dumb and crass and fun and weird as possible. Never mind about education. Look, education was propping up the scam for years, and now the injustice is tumbled, and now we all see, hey, money for everybody and no rules. And who wants to buy their way into the top 15? And you better have the coaches. And Stugotz, the way to make up the ground between Michigan and Alabama. Michigan, this is their best team ever. This is one of the worst Saban's ever had. The ground's been made up. Those teams were equal yesterday.
Yep.
If you're going to make it about money, and the coaching advantages are going to be so minimal between Saban and Harbaugh that Harbaugh could cheat his way to the title, and no one cares that it's corrupt and crass, and you may have a champion that couldn't be a part of half the games in a title soon to be vacated. None of it actually matters because it's just straight business, and it's straight competing over dollars. It's great fun, but it's just gambling product. It's just uniforms. Hey, you're bored at home? You need some action? We're going to throw some more bodies into the mill. They're wearing jerseys, but this is their fourth-string quarterback, and you like them plus 23.5? Do you like FSU? Do you like your chances betting an FSU game? That was a great team. Their season destroyed at the end. Ends with embarrassing punctuation, a fart into the new business of ACC football. We're laughing at you. You signed a 10-year deal that Skipper bilked you on. Skipper, you bleep the ACC. Like, they're all
killed his Tar Heels.
He did.
You greedy monster.
I do like it from this standpoint, though, Dan. It's so much fun. Where Duke suddenly has Malik Murphy because he was the second. When does Duke have a 5-star quarterback from Texas, and now you have a Duke team that can compete for a national championship?
Now? What do you mean now? They've been good for a couple of years.
Not national championship good.
Let's get to the Kirby Smart sound.
Sorry.
Maybe I'm wrong here, and maybe this will be a bad soundbite, but people need to see what happened tonight, and they need to fix this. It needs to be fixed. It's very unfortunate that they, who has a good football team and a good football program, are in the position they're in. And everybody can say it's their fault and it's all their own problem, all right? And everybody can say that we had our guys and they didn't have their guys. I can listen to all that. But college football has got to decide what they want. And I know things are changing, and I think things are going to change next year. And you know what? There's going to still be bowl games outside of those. People got to decide what they want and what they really want to get out of it. because it's really unfortunate for those kids on that sideline that had to play in that game that didn't have their full arsenal. And it affected the game 100%.
But he didn't have his full arsenal. Like, what are we talking about?
How many players was Georgia missing?
Look at the kids
The
nodding
same
along.
as FSU.
27. Can you guys please just isolate for me the sound at the beginning of that? Because I want to point out to the audience how absurdly funny all of this is. Okay?
Maybe I'm wrong here, and maybe this will be a bad soundbite, but people need to see what happened tonight, and they need to fix this.
Okay, just get the second part of that sentence and isolate it for me, because I'm telling you, it's someone that is coming out of a cornfield after having seen something horrific, and it's involved aliens, and there was something that he was not meant to see. His general tone, Kirby Smart's general tone here, is of a man who has seen something that was not meant to be seen, Stugotz, that others shouldn't have seen. It shouldn't have been seen publicly.
But he saw it.
He is embarrassed on behalf of FSU. He knows how hard it is to go undefeated in that sport. And what's amazing about this entire story is that Kirby Smart still has the best team. Kirby Smart would be favored against everybody else. Kirby Smart has lost one time in 2 years. In 3 years, he has lost one time. He, to the degree you can, kind of dominated Saban over the last couple of years and ran Dabo out of the top place. Like, ran Dabo out of there. You can no longer exist here. Go back to the ACC. We're playing big business, giant football here. And he beats FSU. One of the greatest seasons we've ever seen FSU have, and a good FSU team, injured or not injured, kind of needed their quarterback. He's important. Beat him by 60. And then says after the game in a tone that made me scared about what he had seen, delivers this way, this seriousness.
Maybe I'm wrong here, and maybe this will be a bad soundbite, but people need to see what happened tonight, and they need to fix this. It needs to be fixed.
People need to see what happened tonight.
He's so haunted.
Go back and tell people. It's like from an 80s movie about race.
He's right.
Go.
Soul Man?
People, no, not Soul Man. Maybe, no.
People need to know what happened here.
Remember,
Soul Man.
remember in the Eagles game a few years ago where the gate fell and a bunch of people fell onto the field? That's what he acted like happened in that
It
game.
is like Killers of the Flower Moon. Like, people need to know what happened here.
We can't have that happen
This
again.
is a tale of American history that needs to be told. This 60 burger that we threw up on FSU. Yeah. He's right, by the way, but
With our backups.
he's totally right. He's totally right. We all know the dilution we work in sports, but if you're looking for foresight from the people that put together these bowl games, you're going to drive yourself crazy. They're not going to have it. The only thing that'll ever force action is a serious non-pandemic dip in ratings. It's the only thing that's going to force their hands, because as long as it rates the way that it is, you're not going to – there's plenty of solutions that make sense. I got traction for one of the things that I said. Put it at the beginning of the season. You won't have opt-outs.
Well, no, tell people this, because you did say something here that technically would help fix it. People need to start thinking about – people need to see what happened here.
People do. This is not – this is a ridiculous way to end the season
It's
for these
so
teams.
asinine.
It is. Like, move it to the spring – or move it to the beginning of the season. I think moving it to the beginning of the season takes care of everybody. TV partners will feel great. You'll get packed stadiums. Fan bases will be excited because you have a neutral site to travel to at the beginning of games. You won't have the opt-outs. Sure, the teams are totally different from the previous season. Have you watched what's been happening? That's not the same FSU team from the previous season that we saw. So just put it at the beginning of the season.
Wait,
and
so
you'll get your TV numbers.
And you earn the bowl like
for the following
year?
For the following year.
Bowl games are played at the start of the season?
Bowl games are played at the start of the season. Your finish the previous year determines what kind of bowl game you get to be in the start of the season.
But why? Like, why would you
Why
do
are
it
we
that
doing
way?
it this way?
It's a meaningless game,
Why?
though.
No. Now it's a meaningless game. Bowl games with two teams going for it in a neutral site in a game that counts against your record, that'll actually make it feel like something.
Well, I mean, I think their argument would be we expanded the playoffs, so next year that will be a playoff game, so those players probably won't have opted out of that because they'll be playing for a national championship.
Even more reason, I think, to put bowl games at the start of the season, because it just makes the college football playoff at the end of the year more important.
The acceleration to me symbolically has been fascinating. It wasn't but a couple of years ago we were yelling about that guy shouldn't opt out just because he's going to be a first-round pick. And that was a couple of years ago.
McCaffrey.
That guy shouldn't opt out. He should play in that game for his team. FSU needs him.
How about Bo Nix? Huh? Thank you, Bo. You played.
Thank you for doing that to Liberty.
And you covered.
Yeah.
With NCAA records to play for. Totally selfless, Hack. Thank you, Bo.
Thank you, Bo.
Do it for the
We appreciate you.
Thank you, Bo.
Thank you, Bo.
Thank you, Bo.